Today we're making some Gochujang Pasta with freshly made pasta, some Guanciale and Parmesan cheese. And this dish clocks in at 862 calories per portion, 28 grams of proteins, 79 grams of carbs and 48 grams of fat. I'm again using the Divina pasta machine, and if you don't want to make your own pasta, you can just skip ahead in the video and just use any pasta you'd like. You can use fresh or you can use dried. It's not going to be a problem. I'm going to work with both. Since we're making our own, we're going to start with 200 grams of semolina. We're going to mix our semolina with 100 grams of water, so half our semolina weight. I'm going to do this the simple way with mix a well. It's better if you actually make sure you have a big well so the water will fit. Then we're going to go for some salt, and then all we need to do is just mix that together. And then all we need to do is mix this and knead it for a couple of minutes until we have a nice smooth dough. We don't need to mix it that long at all, but since we want to roll this out, it's nice to get kneaded for a little while so we get some gluten in there. But knead it for like 2 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to leave it in the bowl for 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to boil our pasta, so we're going to need some water, and to this we're going to add 120 grams of guanciale. And this was a bit more than 120 grams, so I'm going to cut off the skin, and I'm also going to cut off some of the fat, and I ended up at 120 grams eventually. And I like to go for quite large cubes for this dish. It makes them crispy and still tender. And we don't need to preheat our pan or anything. We don't need any fat. We're gonna have a lot of fat from the guanciale, so just put them in there. You can put them in a cold pan, that's gonna be fine. Then we need to roll out our dough balls, and as I said, there's timestamps, so you can skip this step if you don't want to make your own pasta. This recipe is for 2 people, so we're gonna grate 40 grams of Parmesan cheese. And once our guanciale is nice and crunchy, we're gonna remove those and save them for later. And we're gonna keep that fat, and in that fat we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of gochujang paste and also some low-fat cream, as in 13% fat. And as you can see, we already have a lot of fat in there, so we don't need high-fat cream. And we're simply just gonna mix that together and reduce our cream a bit. And if you boil low-fat cream for too long, it's gonna split. That's not gonna be a problem either. We can fix that later on. So it's fine. And this is the Divina pasta machine. It's my favorite new toy. You can make fresh pasta so quick. Just roll them out and you can get different patterns on them, and it's super quick to make fresh pasta. All you need to do is roll your dough balls in some semolina and then just crank out pasta for 2 people in 3 minutes. It's awesome. Salt our water in with our fresh pasta. We're gonna boil them until they float. That's like 2 to 3 minutes. And you can just make sure they don't stick together by stirring it, but that's probably gonna be fine. And as you can see, I boiled my cream and gochujang paste for a bit too long, so it started to split a bit. But we're just gonna pour in some pasta water into that and mix that all together, and that's gonna solve that. So once our pasta is floating, we're gonna scoop that out and pour that in our cream and gochujang paste. And as always with these pasta sauces that we're adding cheese to, we want it a bit wetter than you think when you're done, because we want to use the cheese to firm it up later on. So if you think it's a little bit too wet, that means it's probably perfect. And this is what I like to go for. If you draw a line through the sauce, it just comes together again, and that's good. So, and as usual, if we toss the pan, it makes it really easy to incorporate the cheese. When we're doing this, we want to remove the frying pan from the heat for 1 to 2 minutes just to let it cool down a bit so the cheese doesn't totally collapse and get stringy. In with the cheese and stir that together. And then all we need to do is toss the pan for a bit, and that's it. This is actually very easy and fast to make. I realize you need a Divina pasta machine to make this exact dish, but You can, as I said, use any pasta you'd like, and it's awesome. So, that's it. Just sprinkle the guanciale on top. We can also use 1 or 2 grams of Parmesan cheese, or as much as you like, on top. And that's it. This is something I really like. I hope you try it, and if you do, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.